as Theo said, my name is Maya El Murr. I'm currently a UX designer at SeaChange, a health and safety consultant company in Ireland. I graduated my master's last year in London, and I'm the founder of So True to Be True, and I'm part of TopTel community. So for people who doesn't know TopTel, TopTel is a global network of top talents in business, design, and technology that enables companies to scale their teams on demand. TopTel screens every client to make sure they have reliable expectation and experience working with remote freelancers. They are also able professional development opportunity to keep your skills sharp, like speakers network or writing a blog. And if you would like to learn more about TopTel, feel free to approach me after the talk or contact me via my email. Okay. Applications are becoming a huge part of our daily lives, and UX designers like myself need to rapidly embrace those apps, and we need to begin proactively define our relationship with it. Now, I'm gonna ask from all of you to imagine that you are also designers, and I want us to think for a second about the difference between designing an application and designing an accessible application. Let's imagine we have someone, a private trainer, who wants to edit and share music to social media. She would probably download any app she finds to edit her audio in order to put it in the blog. And because we are designing that experience, the decisions we made in the design affected that experience process for her. However, there are some experiences that cannot be controlled. That private trainer had a very hard time finding the app that she wanted. She downloaded more than 3 music applications on her phone. She had to learn each app, how it functions, before she was able to make cuts, add effects to her audio. There were also so many steps and trials that made her sit 15 minutes longer to achieve her goal. Now, let's imagine another person, a person who has a disease called muscular dystrophy. For those who are not aware about this disease, it's a genetic disease that is caused by deficiency of a protein that supports the making of fibers in the muscle tissue. It leads the person to be unable to walk by his early teens, and while growing up, his life gradually becomes more difficult to the level that he needs assistance in everything he does. What do you think that person would have faced if he wants to download a music app to edit an audio? Well, in order to answer this question in a good way, let's watch this small video. And if you cannot hear it, please do tell me. So I've known Simon for 6 years now. We met in a church choir, and we became part of each one's life since then. During those 6 years, I saw how he was gradually changing and going backwards. Month after month, year after year, the things he loved doing became a struggle for him, and one of the things was creating music. So let me ask the question again. What do you think Simon would have faced if he wants to download a music app? Or you know what? Let me ask a better question. how can we make music application accessible for Simon? For us to answer the question, we need to understand the term accessibility. So accessibility is creating a product that can be used by everyone. And I believe because we're talking about a case with motor disability, we need to think not only about creating an accessible app, but also creating an inclusive app. And another word for inclusive design is universal design, which means design for all. And in order to give a great user experience for Simon, we need to think of the usability, which is the user experience that focuses on the effective, the efficiency, and the satisfying experience in the design. The accessibility, which is the outcome, and the inclusive design, which is the process. So how do we achieve that? Let's ask ourselves 3 simple questions. Why does Simon need to download such an app? Where is he facing difficulties while he's using the music app? And what are the features that need to be added for him to edit and share his music? If we went back to the example we mentioned before, we should also take into consideration on how long will Simon need to achieve his goal. So in order to know how to make the right decision for a better user experience, designers need to ask the right questions and get the right data. I want to dive into an example here, and I'm gonna use the Inline Video Leap as an example. It's a winner awards Apple and iPhone app, and as I remember, it's in 2017. The Inline Video Leap is a video and audio editor app that includes standard editing features like trimming, adding fonts, adding different effects, sharing, and more. And knowing how usable and efficient the app is, my team and I use standard best practices, user research, and usability testing to help discovering the problem for people with muscular dystrophy. In other words, we focus more on the qualitative and the behavioral research. Eventually, what we did is we recorded an online ethnographic observation and interview. And for people who doesn't know about ethnographic research, is a method where researchers observe and interact with studies of the participants in their real-life environment. And why did we use this method? It's because it allows for the capture of unarticulated and tactic information, where it gives insight into the participants' behavior in the context used. So what did we learn? Looking at the qualitative metrics, the participants who have a muscular dystrophy face several difficulties trying to edit an audio and share it. 2 out of 7 participants finished the task earlier than the others. 3 out of 7 participants stopped and gave up on the whole idea. And 5 out of 7 asked someone next to them to help them achieve some of the tasks. So, and one of the features that were difficult was the timeline navigation. The user needed to click and drag to the end of the audio. So, and this is due to the lack of having the ability to press on the screen and to navigate. So the pressure, he cannot press and drag. So another issue was the same finger pressure gesture, where if you want to trim an audio, and in order to trim an audio, you need also to click and drag to the edge side of the audio, also to the left or right. And the third issue is the zooming. You need to pinch in and out, and this wasn't usable for the participants, neither the click and drag. It took longer time to achieve that. These were just few examples that one would never take into consideration while creating an app. So we did some wireframing and we tested them to the same participants and compared the results. It was a huge change for them. 4 out of 7 participants finished the task earlier than they did before. None asked for assistance, and 7 out of 7 were able to finish all the tasks. What was the thing that changed? It's screen navigation. We created like a keyboard for the app. We worked on making everything available on the screen, on one screen. So as you can see, there are two ways to navigate through the timeline. Using the arrows to navigate the timeline left or right, or he can click on the button called Go To and write or talk, saying which time he wants the timeline he needs to reach. Another thing was we worked on eliminating everything that needs a click and drag gesture, whether it was a horizontal or a vertical scroll, a trimming audio, or search for audio in the file. The zooming is done using a single click, and we added also a voice assistant where it can do the work for him if he needed help using any of the features. With these changes, we were able to extract design principles that shows the importance of the context and its simplicity, where we were willing to apply those knowledge to future work. I will show you a small sneak peek of the high fidelity wireframe of the app, where you can see that the splash screen, the feature screen, where the user can mix audio, edit audios, create videos, and share the work. Also, there will be an onboarding screen, which will help the users understand more the features and the gestures. You can also see how the new project screen shows how it appears when the user is editing. And the last wireframe is the voice assistant, where the user can click or talk to the app if he or she needed help. If you would like to know more about the coming designs and principles that have been used, I will send you the survey at the end of the slide, and you can mention it in the survey. So giving you the example about the private trainer that is facing issues while downloading and trying the new app, it was just a small example of what a lot of people face in the digital world. So we need to know that one day we will be disabled, whether it was a temporary, permanent, or even a situational disability. And the job for us as designers is to try to focus on making and including accessibility in our apps in any way possible, because together we can make a huge impact in each other's life. That was short. Thank you. And I would appreciate if you can send me your feedback of my talk today. I will send you the link just after we finish. And if anyone would like to contact me for a small hello, I'm available to each platform. Any questions?
Thank you, Maya. We will take some questions on the chat, or if anybody wants